Hi guys, welcome back to the second part of my movie video series about how to prepare for a long cycle ultracycling event like the Transcontinental race for dummies, more for the average guy. Like I mentioned in my first video, I just realized that many people really still use like setups that are not really secure or efficient. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about a secure and efficient, comfortable and yummy setup and also equipment, what you should take for your ultracycling event. In the first video I talked a lot about the bike and your position on the bike, which should be really aerodynamic and everything. Today I focus on the last 2 weeks to the race, your last preparations on the bike, on yourself, and a little bit talk on special equipment, what I would recommend you. So let's start with the last preparations on your bike. To make your bike really fit for the race, there are some things you should definitely do up in front, because you have the time during the race. You don't have time, you don't want to fiddle around with shit. So up in front I would change the tires and put new sealant in there, of course. So that's I guess like a no-brainer. You should definitely also change your chain, your drivetrain, maybe your cassette in the back, so that's new. You should change your brake pads and bleed your brakes so they work perfectly. If you can't do that on your own, go to a good bike shop and let them do the bleeding, because you cannot bleed your brakes during the race. You don't have the stuff with you. So look that that's working nice. Of course you check the bike itself, but these are the main things. Maybe if you want, you could also take new bar tape on your bike. Maybe it's a little bit uncomfortable when you ride it a long time, so maybe a new bar tape is also, this is a good point to do it. Also no big money, but a new bar tape probably is also a good idea. So that's on the bike, on your setup. You should not change your setup, so you take the same tires you worked before or you used before, the same sealant, so you know that your setup is still good. When it was good in your training exercises the last weeks, take the same setup. Like I said, you should consider tires about 35-38 millimeters for a long ultracycling event like this. Okay, so this is your preparation, last preparations on your bike. For yourself, you should be already in a good condition, so you should be able to ride your 250 kilometers a day or more to be really fit and you really know that you can do it. So the last 2 weeks you still do a little bit of exercise, of course, but you should be already on the level you need. So I would just do 1 or twice or 3 times a week. Easy riding, maybe 100 Ks or 50 Ks, nothing super hardcore, but just to stay in shape. Okay, let me show you a little bit equipment and a little bit thoughts on the equipment. I show you here some stuff, what I would take, and I would recommend to you to buy a new pump before the race. These pumps are like 20 or 30 euros. It should be a pump, maybe that one that you know already, that you know it works good. But the problem is with an old pump, a pump can also break down. It has to be really secure, so a new pump is no bad idea. I would not use a huge pump, but a small one like this, because you will not hopefully need it too often, and the 2 or 3 minutes you lose maybe because of the smaller pump, it's not a big issue, and these pumps are good enough to get your 35-38 millimeter tires yeah, blown up. So a good, maybe new pump. Let's get to your secure setup. I would not recommend to you a tube like this. These Aerotan tubes, super lightweight, yeah, and I use it also on a road bike. But if they get a hole, you can, most of the time, you can just throw them away. So this doesn't make sense for a long race, in my opinion. I would take a standard tube. Of course, you have to look up for the right size. This one, for example, only is suitable till 32 millimeters, so this would not be perfect. You also have to look that your valve is long enough, of course. So this is a really long valve. This should work with every rim. Why do I say take two of these? You take two of these because you have a tubeless setup. So in the worst case scenario, both your wheels, the tubeless setup doesn't work anymore at some point of the race. So you have to put a tube in there. Two of these, so you are set up with the tubes. And then, if it gets even worse, you take this kind of patches with you, because you can, if you take these normal patches, you can fix, you can fix these tubes like 10 times if you want, but take the proper patches with some volcanic solution. They look like this. Yeah, so you can have in there like 10 or 20 of these patches. These patches, if you know how to use them, they work like ages and they work perfect and they don't let you down. If you take the newer ones, self-sticking stuff, they just don't work that good. So I definitely would recommend the proper patching setup like this, because then you really you cannot get in any big troubles. If you know how to use them, there are a lot of videos on this stuff, you can look it up. But that's the reason why I would take two normal butyl tubes and a proper patch kit, repair kit. Okay, I guess some of these you should take with you, no big deal, they don't weigh nothing and can help you sometimes. Then I get to some special stuff, and I saw people that they didn't took this kind of stuff. I would take one pair of spare cleats with you just in case something happens to your cleats, because you don't find them on the streets or on the trees. And of course, you take one derailleur hanger for your bike with you for 100%. You will never find these on the race anywhere. So if your rear derailleur gets gets a problem, you need one of these. Waste nothing, and you need one of these during your race. I would also take a shifting cable if you use a normal shifting. Also, again, this thing weighs nothing. Maybe you will not need it, hopefully you will not need it, and most probably you will not need it. But if you need it, you have it with you and you can change it in like 2 minutes and you're on the road again. Take a proper multi-tool. Of course, the multi-tool should definitely have something to fix your chain, and you definitely should take spare missing link for your chain with you. So if you have a problem with the chain gets destroyed, you can fix it somehow. No? So this also goes in the kit. Of course, you need a little bit of chain lube. during the race. I use this every morning. For me, I come back to the efficiency, so I use that every day and make sure my drivetrain was working nicely. Yeah, why not? This takes like 2 or 3 minutes in the evening before you go to bed. You get this on your chain and the next day you're good to go. If you take sunscreen, take the highest you can get, 50 plus or something, because then you don't need so much. This little thing got me through all the race, and yeah, 50 plus, nothing less. Yeah, tape. If you're able, you can take a spoke with you, but this only makes sense if you are able to repair it during the race. So make up your mind if you can do that, and if your wheel set is a normal wheel set, and then I would take the a spoke with me that will fit your wheel set. Last bit, a good salbe for your hygiene. So you need something that you use in the evening when you're finished with your cycling. Before you go to bed, you will do that on your butt. So yeah, keeps your butt healthy. I would definitely take something like this also in the morning, then you're good to go. So last bit on the setup for your equipment. Secure, efficient, something like this, a photochromic lens that will get dark in the sun, so you don't need 2 glasses, you need 1, and that works all the time. So I would look for something like this. There are also cheaper models on the market, but take a photochromic version. When you're right into the dark, don't have to switch your glasses. Last bit on the setup, I will talk about helmets, and the tricot. In the first video I said it's really important to be aerodynamic, but this for me is not appropriate for helmets. It's getting really hot during the race, and an aerodynamic helmet just don't have much of the ventilation, so your head gets really hot. During the race, you're not allowed to get your helmet off. So I would prefer a semi-aerodynamic helmet with more ventilation in there. And this makes more sense for your head than the little bit of aero advantages, in my opinion, because yeah, it gets really hot and your head has to work as your air conditioning, and with a helmet with more ventilations, you're better off. Yeah. The rest of the kit, for example, your tricot, I would go with an aerodynamic jersey, because that will save you some watts. It's light and you can wash it every day because it's weigh nothing and it dries up in no time. So aerodynamic jersey, why not? With the helmets, I would choose a more ventilated one. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the second part of the movie. If you have any comments on the kit and other ideas on this is just my recommendations, what I realized and what worked really well for me during the race. I hope you enjoyed the second video, and I look forward to talk about the third part, which will be what you should consider during the race. Bye!